And welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here today we'll be doing another 5-year rebuild. This time we will be rebuilding the Seattle Seahawks and trying my hopes in terms of finally getting a team to a Super Bowl. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope you're all having a great day. Please leave a like, comment down below what you thought of today's action, and don't forget to subscribe. So let's take a quick look at the Seattle team here. Seattle is an older dash younger type of roster here. They're led by Geno Smith. I like Geno Smith. I like his story in terms of being a second-round pick. I remember when he even first was drafted, like 12 years ago. I really liked him. I thought that what's their name? The Jags should have drafted him in the first round. But was drafted by the Jets, and he's been a journeyman, but now he's the guy here. But we have Kenneth Walker here to help him out. Quarterback is something that we're going to have to replace, but I don't think we're going to have to replace Kenneth Walker here. He'll be an every down back for us. Of course, we also have Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf and JSN. You know, we have 3 very talented receivers here. Of course, probably in the upcoming seasons, Tyler Lockett will end up leaving and retiring. Got to figure out tight end. Seattle has done a pretty good job over these last few years of improving this offensive line. Connor Williams is their new addition from this past offseason. So hopefully Williams can shore up this line here for us. And Haynes here, I am going to give him the start over Brantford here. Want to give the most talent on this roster as much opportunities as possible. And this is where they shine here on defense. Now, I'm very surprised that Tron Woodland here is only normal development. I feel like he should have at least star dev. That's very disrespectful. He's a very good corner. But Seattle has a very good secondary. Witherspoon here is another top tier guy. Of course, they have a solid pass rush, good linebackers. Their front 4 is pretty good. Jordan Love last year, or Julian Love here, ex-Giant. I really like him. He actually had an outstanding season this past year for Seattle. We have a lot of work to do with this team, getting them both younger as well as trying to improve here in terms of developing these teams and winning. And that's really what we're trying to strive for here. So let's get right into it. We'll send to the halfway point here of the season and see where we're at. Well, so far, not so good. We're 2-5 right now, currently second to last in our own division. It's gonna be tough playing against the Niners team, who are 7-0. Geno Smith here, 14 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Not terrible, not great either. Kind of expect that from a 33-year-old quarterback. Kenneth Walker here, 4.8 yards a carry. That's very good. 3 scores already. Happy to see that. DK Metcalf leading the way with Lockett and JSN here. Supplying some good support. The offensive line playing pretty well. And then defensively, actually kind of subpar here. Got to be able to figure out here on defense. We have a top 5 ranked offense right now and a bottom dwelling defense. So hopefully we can improve defensively here in the second half. We have $12 million and we have a good amount of free agents that needed new deals. Our 2 starting inside linebackers, Jared Reed here as well. But unfortunately, we just don't have the money to make any of these guys, extend any of these guys. And honestly, I don't think that there's a single guy here that I would try to. Maybe Connor Williams. But yeah, I don't think that we're going to make any sort of moves. I am, though, with this being said, maybe we sell and try to just get another draft pick here. And a deal has been made here. We're trading away 2 defensive starters and Connor Williams. All of these guys during their last year, their deal, to get Michael Mayers here and a 2nd-round pick from the Raiders. We're also giving them a 3rd and a 6th, so we're kind of trading up from the 3rd round to have another 2nd-round pick. And we're moving off of 3 veterans that aren't going to get a lot of play. Well, we'll get a lot of playing time, but now we're going to kind of give more young players opportunities. And I wanted to get Mayers on this roster to hopefully be our new, number 1 tight end. I'm hoping that he can handle that. I can't do it on this screen, but I will make him the top tight end on our offense. Just to kind of maybe sure it up a little bit more with getting a new young tight end on the team. Well, with year 1 in the books, we went 7-10. Solid start to the rebuild. We got an extra 2nd round pick to work with. I did decide to start Sam Howell here in the second half of this season. He's younger than, what's his name? Gino, so might as well just give him the opportunity. He played okay, 19 touchdowns, 7 picks. Not gonna complain about that. Kenneth Walker here, 1,100 yards and 11 scores. Gotta find out, we kind of found our top tier running back. Tyler Lockett here, 1,300 yards and 7 scores, with DK with 1,111 scores, and JSN with 8 and 8 as well. Myers also added 300 through the air and 5 scores. The offensive line played pretty well as well. And then defensively, it looks like we kind of turned it on a little bit here in the second half of the season, which is nice to see. Got to continue to put together building blocks on both sides of the ball. We ended with a top 10 offense, at least in terms of yardage. Still a bottom dwelling defense. No MVP for our Seahawks. And let's see if we have anyone winning any sort of awards. It does not look like it's going to be the case. So let's get to the Pro Bowl list and get into the first offseason. Here's the first Pro Bowl list here. Let's see a quarterback of ours, no running back, no receiver, which is kind of a surprise. We had 2 1,000-yard receivers. Offensive line, I don't see a soul. Defensively, I'm not seeing anyone either. So year 1, it's kind of a throwaway type of season, it looks like. Hopefully here, as we get into the first off season, we can really kind of improve this team. With now year 1 officially in the books, the Buffalo Bills get their Super Bowl victory with Von Miller as your MVP. He probably retires on top as the Bills beat the Niners 17-14. Close battle for them. In terms of retirements, I don't know if we're gonna have any Seahawks. Not seeing anyone just yet. Similar names that I see every single time. And Vaughn did decide to retire. I don't see any sort of Seahawks, and no. So no one retired. I think we're gonna kind of enter into this free agency period, trying to save as much money as we possibly can by cutting players that just older, that are being overpaid, and trying to bring in some top key free agents, hopefully in this offseason. We won't have a lot of money. At least I don't believe we do. We have $10 million. Charles Cross here, he's a 82 left tackle. Not gonna let him go. And everyone else we will let go here. We've got to figure it out. We have $10 million. This might be a quick free agency period. And to save some money here, we will be cutting Geno Smith, saving about $18 million. During this free agent class, I'm going after 2 players, Bobby Wagner and Isaiah Simmons here. Just trying to get top tier players. Trying to just help out our linebacking core. We got Wagner, he's back here in Seattle. And Isaiah Simmons here for the next 4 seasons can be at least one of our starting inside linebackers. I like these 2 moves. It allows me not to have to focus in on that. And don't forget, no more Geno Smith. Sam Howell's the only active quarterback. So in this up-and-coming class here, you got to figure I'm targeting a quarterback, trying to support this team in that, going in that direction. This is the current state of the roster right now. Definitely could use help in the interior of this offensive line. Of course, getting a quarterback would be much appreciated. And then defensively, getting a new nose tackle and maybe an edge rusher as well. Strong safety too. We have a few positions of need, but not gonna overextend here. We have solid players. It's just continuing to add to it. We have the 9th pick. I'm not gonna trade up here. So I'm gonna get us to our pick. So in terms of quarterback prospects here, there's really only one, and that's Jared Sheldon here, who is projected to go in the 2nd to the 3rd round. He has a 1-2 talent here, and for that reason, I'm thinking we select him here in the 2nd round, not here in the 1st round. So I'm gonna look around and try to find someone else that I like. And with our first ever pick here, Jonathan Dunn here, a defensive tackle. I know it's not maybe a massive priority, but I want to shore up this defensive line, give us a key young player on the defensive line to help us. Jonathan with hidden dev, he has good speed, solid strength as well. I think that solidifies our front 3. And Jared Sheldon here will be the selection in the 2nd round, wanting to guarantee finding ourselves our next quarterback. And Jared here, he will be the guy. He has good speed, hidden dev. Hopefully, he's the future here at quarterback. D'Angelo Murray here will be the other 2nd round pick. We got this selection from the Raiders, and I'm hoping that Murray can come in here and be a day 1 starting safety. Hidden dev, 87 speed. Not too bad here. I don't think we have another pick into the 4th round, so I'm done here with the first draft class. So we got a defensive lineman, a quarterback, as well as a safety, and the CPU will get anyone else that we might need. But I'm happy with the first few selections, hopefully. And yeah, I mean, a 74 overall defensive tackle here and done here. Good block shed, good power moves. You can develop over these next few seasons as he will get a lot of the starts to hopefully be a top tier defensive lineman. Now here for Jared Sheldon here, it's really the awareness that worries me. 64, that could be definitely a problem, but hopefully he can go out there, have a good season. He has offensive weapons. And then D'Angelo Murray here, also hidden dev. I think we hit 3 hidden dev players in a row. Murray will also be a day 1 starter for our defense. So we got 2 defensive starters and a new quarterback with a couple more defensive players here. Solid depth in terms of the linebacking core and at safety. And this will be the roster here for year 2. We're gonna go with Sheldon, the rookie quarterback. We brought in Myers from a trade a year ago as well. Kenneth Walker, DK Metcalf here. Jen SN here, he's gonna get more opportunities as the true number 2 receiver. And then defensively, we're gonna go with our 2 young guys here. It looks like the CPU also drafted us a 3rd. And then of course Simmons and Wagner are new to this defense. I mean, Wagner's been here before, but he's back. Just hoping that the youth that we've brought in can help us. The team definitely didn't improve significantly. We didn't have a ton of money. So hopefully here in year 2, there can just be somewhat of an improvement. Maybe we do make the postseason, and I hope that can be a 4-2 record halfway through the year. That's a good start to have. Jared here, 7 touchdowns, 4 picks. Not losing us games, not being totally a big time factor here, but Kenneth Walker, 4.1 yards a carry, 4 scores. DK doing his thing. It will take a little bit for him to develop. Like I said, that 64 awareness does worry me. Our defense is playing better. Brian Murphy here, he's producing for our defense. Dom is taking his time, but D'Angelo Murray has an interception. So far so good. It looks like it might be a little flip this season. Yeah, we have a better defense than we do an offense. So hopefully here in the second half of the season, we can improve. We have $148 million to work with. DK Metcalf, Kenneth Walker, Adam Lucas here. We have a lot of starters that are needing new contracts here. So let me get to work here and try to extend some of these guys. Kenneth Walker signs his contract. Same thing here with DK Metcalf. Abraham here, he also signs his contract extension. Woodland here, or Woodland, he also extends. And I also give Michael Dixon a 4-year deal. Actually, he is not accepting it just yet. But it looks like Kenneth Walker did not accept the contract, so I'm gonna go back to the table with him. Everyone else I'm not gonna work with just yet. Yeah, for now, all these guys, we'll see how the season plays out. But I'll try to get Walker for you guys and Dixon after this game. And now we signed Kenneth Walker here. And we also got Michael Dixon. So everyone I wanted is back, leaves us with $83 million. Let's get to the playoffs. As we're 5-2 right now, we're looking good. There's a good shot that we make the postseason this season. Well, we have made it into the postseason. We're 8-9. And we got the 7th seed. We just got in. Sneakily, we did so. That's very nice to see here, as, you know, there was probably the Packers were the team that were trying to compete for that 7th seed, and the Eagles, it looks like. But let's look at some stats here. Jared here, 25 touchdowns, 11 picks. Not too shabby here for a first-year quarterback. Came down as star development, not too bad at all. And the postseason run should definitely help, at least in terms of my expectations for this team. Kenneth Walker, 1,400 yards, 13 scores, 5.1 yards a carry. That's a very good season. No 1,000-yard receiver, though. DK Metcalf, 806 scores. JSN here, 7-7. Tyler Lockett had 6-6. Myers, though, he had a productive season. The offensive line, Charles allowed the most sacks. Isaiah Simmons here led the way in tackles. Jonathan Dunn here, 13 TFLs and 2.5 sacks. He comes out as an X factor. Haven't driven too many of those, but that's very nice to see, at least with our first selection. So hopefully he can provide that staple across our defensive line. Murphy here led us in sacks with 9.5, and Bo Mafe here at 8.5. Now he needs a new deal. Right now I haven't given him one. It might be time for me to reconsider that contract. So defensively, we had a top tier defense, which allowed us to get into the playoffs. Across the board, a good amount of interceptions. Happy to see that. So let's get into this playoff run here. We'll look at the league leaders in just a moment. I first want to get through the postseason. So we first play against this Dallas Cowboys here in the wild card action. Do we move on? And no, we are 1-done in this postseason, and that's not bad. We lost 28-21. It wasn't a total blowout. Looks like we were trying to make a comeback. But a rookie quarterback throwing 3 interceptions, that's just unfortunate. Quickly looking at the award winners, MVP is Lamar Jackson. Let's see if there's any Seahawks. Jared Sheldon here is your offensive rookie of the year. That could give him superstar dev. And Jonathan Dunn here got 3rd in terms of defensive rankings. No quarterback. Surprisingly, Kenneth Walker was number 3 in terms of running backs. No receivers, no linemen. And yeah, so only Sheldon, our rookie quarterback, got any sort of awards. We're 1-done in the postseason, but it does give me hope here for year 3. Here's the Pro Bowl list here. No quarterbacks. Kenneth Walker didn't make it in. No receivers for us. In terms of offensive linemen, not seeing any one of ours. We did have a better defensive performance this season, so maybe we can sneakily get someone in. Isaiah Simmons got in to the Pro Bowl. So we have a couple Pro Bowlers this season, so better than a year ago. We're 1-done in the postseason. Let's build off of that. And this year's Super Bowl champions are the Kansas City Chiefs, beating the Minnesota Vikings 31-24. Patrick Mahomes is your MVP. They're the new champs of our league. In terms of retirements, see players like Russell Wilson, Bobby Wagner did call it a career. And I think Wagner will be the only player that retires, and he is. So Because now we enter into year 3, we have a lot more decisions to be making. We have a lot more things to be thinking about. But one thing is for sure, we have our quarterback. It's just continuing to surrounding him with talent across the board. We'll have money to work with. And hopefully that can help us. We currently have $100 million. Donovan Witherspoon here. I want to pick this 5th-year option up. Same thing here with JSN. Want to make sure that we keep our 2 playmakers here. For Noah Fant, I think for all these guys, even Maffei here, we're going to let him go. We might target him back in free agency, but we have $100 million. I want to see what we can do. Current state of the roster here, as we see that Sheldon did get up to superstar development, and that is because of the Offense of the Year award, so that helped a lot. We still have Kenneth Walker. Zach here could be a trade candidate during this offseason. He hasn't gotten too much playing time, and maybe we could get a 3rd round or a 4th round pick for him. 3rd receiver is still in need, or is now in need. Interior offensive line wouldn't be a bad idea as well. Defensively, we have our front 3 for right now. We have our 2 number 1 and 2 corners. We have our 2 safeties. Inside linebacker, pass rusher. Pass rusher is probably the bigger need, or off-ball line. I don't know. We just need some more talent on this front 7. So I got a few targets here. Joe Toney here. Solidify this offensive line even further. Trying to go after Romeo Doubs here. If he doesn't sign after this week or this evaluation, most likely we won't get him. Christian Benford here to be our 3rd corner on the roster. Trying to bring back Boyfay here. And Ian Pace here to be our new inside linebacker. So going after 5 targets. We got 4 out of the 5. We did not get the pass rusher, so we got 4 new faces. Just lost the familiar face for our defense. There were other players that I could have targeted as well, I know, but I went after the guys that I thought could help us. And if there's any other moves, I will let you know. Got 3 more targets for you guys. Joey Bosa, Zadarius Smith, and Ted here. Solidify some more of our positional groups here. We got Bosa, Smith, and Ted. So a lot of free agents, some young, some older. But hopefully with these moves, they can propel us not just to get back to the postseason, but to actually win a game. Current state of the roster here. We're looking very good here on the offense. We improved our interior. We got a true number 3 receiver. 2 very good running backs, Mott Mayer as well. And then defensively, we solidified our secondary. We brought in Bosa to be a band-aid at edge rusher. We have 2 good young linebackers. There's not a ton of room here. Edge rusher could be a spot. Same thing across the offensive line, you could argue. And heck, you could even say 3rd receiver. With this first pick, I might just go BPA and go kind of more in that approach. Let's go after David Lewis here. He's a big-time edge rusher. Just trying to get younger at the position. Might have ticked him a little too high, normal dev. But I think Lewis could be a solid front 7 player for us. Wanted to leave this draft class with at least 1 offensive lineman. Eric Gray here. He's the right guard. He'll be the selection here in the 2nd round. So far, solid pick, hidden dev, 88 strength as well. And then back to the will of the defensive lineman, Brian McLeod here. He'll be the selection. He's also more of an edge rusher and normal dev. Hopefully maybe a 70 overall for us, but that's the 2nd draft class. As we now enter into year 3, higher expectations after making to the postseason, hopefully to getting back there and winning a game or 2. It would be fantastic if we can get to a Super Bowl. We did add the necessary players and drafted 3 guys that hopefully can have somewhat of an impact. Lewis here, normal dev, 81 power moves though. That's a good starting base for us. In terms of Eric Gray here, solid 73, gonna play like a 74 overall. I'm happy about that. And then in the third round, I kind of whiffed with a 66 overall, but the CPU helped us out by getting us a solid fourth receiver, a good blocking tight end, and another receiver to help us out. So CPU did better than I did. Let's get into year 3. As this will be the roster as we enter into year number 3. Made it to the postseason a season ago. Sheldon, it's time for you to take the next necessary step. We added Dobbs to help you out. We added 2 good offensive linemen. Bo Jackson here. He's a tight end that can play fullback, do a little bit of everything. I like that pick from our CPU. He has the talent on the offense, and we have the talent on the defense. We have a good front 4. We're going to give Lewis the opportunity to start, but everyone else will get playing time. Joey Bosa we brought in. Benford here as well. We have a pretty solid team across the board. So I do expect us to go above 500. I do expect us to make it to the postseason. So let's get through halfway through year number 3. Not as hot of a start as I wanted to see, a 3-4. It looks like we've lost the last 2 weeks. Yeah, was really kind of more hoping for a better start than that, but looks like Sheldon here is putting up some more yardage and more touchdowns. Kenneth Walker is still producing for us. JSN here producing as well. It looks like our 3 receivers are having a good time. Happy to see that. Offensive line, not too shabby at all. And then defensively, Jonathan Dunn here leads us the way in sacks. It looks like we're doing pretty well. Isaiah Simmons with 5 interceptions to start the season. My goodness. So we might be one of the better 3 and 4 teams that I've seen. We have $51 million to work with, and we have a few key contributors, it looks like. So the big one is our left tackle that we have to kind of solidify here. Players like Michael Mayer here. I don't know just yet if we're going to extend him, but I do want to give Cross this new contract. I want to guarantee us having a big timeline, and Charles Cross did resign. Leaves us with $25 million for Mayer and Zach here. Not going to work with their contracts. I think the only reason I will give Michael here any sort of contract is if he truly breaks out. But 3 years here, nothing that we couldn't replace. So not gonna really worry about that. Will I trade these 2? It might be the smart idea, but will I? No. Let's get to the let's get to the playoffs. Hopefully not the off season. And let's get to a postseason and hopefully win a game. And we're back to 7-10 here. We still haven't broke above 500 as a coach. Sheldon here threw more touchdowns but more interceptions. That's unfortunate to see. Kenneth Walker here, 1,300 yards and 9 scores. Not too shabby on his end. DK Metcalf here, less than 1,000 yards. Same thing here with JSN here. They each produced for us. Romeo Dobbs here also had a solid season. And yeah, I think we can let go of Michael. Offensive line played solid. Isaiah Simmons with 7 interceptions. That's very good. Our 2 young defensive linemen produced for us. And then in terms of interceptions, I mean, good job to Isaiah Simmons here. He should get up to a star dev after a season like that. But year 3 is kind of a lot like year 1. We have a solid record, 7-9 or 7-10, excuse me. But just terrible, or just not terrible in the sense of not getting to the postseason. Isaiah Simmons here, 1 defensive player of the year. 2 Saint players getting the rookie of the years. No quarterbacks, and I'm not seeing anything else, not even for a linebacker. But Simmons did win defensive player of the year, so that hopefully should get him up to star dev or maybe even superstar. I don't know. Taking a quick look at the Pro Bowl list here. Desmond Ridder got in, which is kind of a surprise. It's kind of funny. No one in terms of this offense besides one of our guards. So that's nice to see. Defensively, Dunn got in. He had 11 sacks this season, so happy to see that. Surprised that Murphy didn't get in, but that's okay. Simmons got in as another linebacker, and no one else for our defense, but a couple Pro Bowlers. I think our team is coming together. Hopefully, as we enter into this offseason, we can improve the team a little bit more. And maybe this might be an offseason where we save money, just because we do have a lot of big contracts coming up. And this year's Super Bowl champs are the Cincinnati Bengals, beating the Dallas Cowboys. T. Higgins is your MVP, 28-22. Good job to Cincinnati. A lot of teams are winning the championship this year. They're the new champs in terms of retirements. None for us, so don't have to really worry too much about that. We don't have a whole lot of money, and we will have to replace a few key starters, at least like tight end. Got to figure out the offensive line a little bit more. But let's get into re-signing phase here. $35 million. Brian Murphy here. Definitely going to give this to him. In terms of everyone else here, I think we're going to let them go. We've either drafted the replacements or we just have better depth. So let's get into the offseason. Current state of the roster here. It looks like they're going to have us start Eric Gray here, which wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Backup running back is in need. We're good at receiver. Do you go with a blocking tight end here and Ben Jackson here? Maybe. I mean, 77 speed isn't awful, but it's not great either. He does come out with superstar development. And then defensively, could look to add another defensive lineman. We have our linebackers, could look to improve over Joey Bosa if we wanted to. We have our corners. So yeah, this might be an off season where we don't do too much. I'm going after 3 guys here, trying to bring back Leonard Williams, Darnell Washington. He would be a good band-aid for tight end. And then Azeez Ojulari, just depth. We got Leonard Williams and Ojulari back. If Washington doesn't want to come here, that's fine. I'm not too worried about it. I will start Jackson if necessary, but let's get to the draft. Current state of the team, didn't bring in any free agent offensive players, so you could argue tight end is a need. Backup running back, maybe we bring in another offensive lineman to solidify it even further. Defensively, I mean, we drafted Lewis for a reason, to become a starter. So I think no pressing need here on either side of the ball. It's just getting depth across the board, so it's probably just BPA yet again. We're gonna take a corner here in the first round. Mullins, he's a good zone cover corner. Just trying to fill the void here. He's a top 6 player, hidden development. Reason going in this direction is because our third corner is in his last year of his deal. Jeremy Williams here, receiver, trying to help out our third receiver units. Maybe a little bit of a reach, but top end speed. My thought process is the same thing as the first round. You know, between Dobbs and Brantford, those 2 guys are probably going to leave after this offseason. Deontay Tover here, taking a backup running back here in the 3rd round. Well, this draft class is in the books here. Mullins here, hidden dev corner. Happy about his ratings. I think he can turn into something pretty good for us after his rookie season. And then Jeremy here, top end speed, pure deep threat. Just got to get the ball in his hands and let him go to work. And the running back we drafted is not particularly great. And the CPU got us some quality depth across the board. So let's get into year 4 and see what this roster can do, as this will be the team for year number 4. This team has already made it to the postseason once, so it's not like it's buyers beware. It's just, it's time for us to take the next necessary step here. And Jared Sheldon here, prove that he's a top-tier quarterback to get us back to the postseason. We have the playmakers to do so in terms of Walker, DK, and JSN here. We have a quality offensive line in front of him and a good defense to back him up. I don't see any real reason why this team can't make it back to the postseason. I would like two things to happen this season: to be above 500 and to make the postseason and to win a playoff game. Well, this is not the good start here. 3-4, same thing like last year. 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions here for Sheldon. How? How is that even possible? We have a quality offensive line. We have a quality team. Well, I guess we've just been running the football here with Walker. We've been a run-heavy team. Each receiver has a score, same with Ben Jackson here. I'm baffled by those numbers here. And our defense is leading the way across the board. Again, Jonathan leads the way with 4 sacks. Isaiah Simmons still is picking up interceptions left and right. We're a quality team that's very weird to me. We have $126 million, and we have a lot of key starters here across this team. So let's see what negotiations I can do. We did bring back Witherspoon here. He signs a 4-year extension. JSN here can't fully commit just right now, which makes sense. He's not producing high numbers. Christian here, he re-signs, not having to worry about a guard position. Right now, Love does not want to re-sign. We need to start winning to help him. For everyone else here, I'm not going to work on their contracts. For JSN here and Love, I will come back to the table next week and see what we can do. But for right now, not looking to make any sort of trades, not looking to do anything like that, just trying to get this team to the postseason. JSN did sign his new extension here, so we have our top number 2 on the roster. And after getting rejected here by Love, I'm going to wait until the end of this season to see if he wants to come back. Well, we didn't hit any of our goals here in year 4. We go 7-10 again. 3 times in this 5-year rebuild. Sheldon took a step back in terms of everything, I feel like it. Kenneth Walker, he just got a boatload of carries, which is why he put up 17 scores. DK Metcalf did hit 1,000 yards, same with, or close with JSN here. I really don't know what's up with this team. And as we now enter the last year, this offseason, that we can improve this team. Again, Isaiah Simmons has 7 interceptions. What the hell? But again, and he's still normal development. That does not make sense to me. But either way, we have one more offseason to really improve this team, and going all in, it's something that we know in these rebuilds. For me, Kenneth Walker is your best running back. Isaiah Simmons is your best linebacker. I bet he doesn't even get a development trait, but let's get into the Pro Bowl list, and let's get into the last offseason, and then in year 5. Taking a quick look here at the Pro Bowl list here, Kenneth Walker got in. No receivers. Don't see any of our tight ends, nor our offensive linemen. So, no one across the defensive line. I mean, Dunn got in, so that's good. Simmons got in as well. But now as we enter into the last offseason here, we have a lot of big moves we have to make. We do have money, we do have capital, so that's good at least. It's just, can we figure it out here? Let's go see who the Super Bowl champs are for year 4. So your Super Bowl champs are the Minnesota Vikings, winning 40-14. JJ McCarthy is your Super Bowl MVP over the Colts. Retirements will only look at us. No one retires on terms of our team. So the last thing now that we have to do is upgrade these players and get into the last offseason. Hopefully we can find some type of talent on this team. Year 5 is, again, make it or break it here. So who in this re-sign phase do we not want for the last year? We have $86 million. course, we're gonna give this to Dunn. In terms of Love, I do want to extend him, and I am gonna offer this to him. And he does sign. I know he's gonna be massively overpaid, but I don't care. Romeo Doubs, I think we could just find a better third receiver. And the last player is Joe here, and I do want to extend him, give him another year with us. He does re-sign, leaving us with $61 million. Not at a hole in terms of the offense. Got to figure out a defensive lineman and maybe another pass rusher. But I do think that we're kind of in a good spot as we enter into year. Quickly looking at this team, current state of the roster. I think we're okay at receiver. We don't have to press too hard. We have a lot of young guys behind Metcalf and JSN. We have a top-tier running back, a good offensive line. Defensively, maybe another outside linebacker and an interior defensive lineman, but I think we're kind of good there. Overall-wise, guys, I think we're kind of just spend what we can, and that's about it. We're going after some big-time talent here. Jalen Ramsey, Ricky here, Montez Sweat, Cade Otton, and Rashawn Gary here, just trying to solidify this team. And we got Montez Sweat and Cade Otton here. We did not get Ramsey. We did not get Ricky either. I feel like there was a couple other players. But we did help out the defensive line and tight end. And we do have money still, so maybe we can target a receiver. Romeo Doubs is the best one available, so we'll go right back after him. Trying to just re-solidify our three receivers, kind of move forward from there. As we did get Doubs to come back, $23 million, not gonna do anything else here. Let's get to the last draft class. Current state of the team right now. I think we're kind of solidified here. You could argue that we're solidified here on offense and heck, even defense to a certain extent. Maybe outside linebacker, you could say. Maybe a new center, new third receiver. We're gonna go BPA. We have the 8th overall pick. Let's make the most out of it. Braylon Hurd here, outside linebacker. It is a position of need, I know that. I do think he's the best player available, and clearly he wasn't, but hidden dev, 86 speed, that should help us out. It's just hard to pass up on a round 1 quarterback here in the 2nd round. I know I'm going to be simming through the whole season, but if Stephon Proctor here comes out with a high development or hidden development and is a, top tier prospect, I might start him this season. And then Oscar Jackson here, best player on the board. Let's go select him here in the 3rd round, right around his spot. Solid safety. Not a lot to really say about this draft class or even this off season. I do think that we improved this team and slightly a little bit. Is it enough though to, do our goals here? And the big one is to win the Super Bowl. But our pass rusher here, 74 overall, he probably will start day 1, but I don't know how much of an impact he will make. Quarterback here, 75 overall, not gonna start him. He has solid accuracies across the board. It's just, there's no point in starting him when you already have like an 87 overall quarterback on the team. Just wanted to see if he could come out as a top tier guy. And then Oscar here, solid development piece, but not gonna play too much, at least with us. So CPU got us some good depth players, so let's get into year 5. Can this be the team to get us back to the postseason and potentially win us a playoff game? We have a quality offensive line. We brought in Cade Otton here to be our new starting tight end. We have multiple receivers, a top tier running back. We have everything in front of us here. Starting a rookie here, but I'm hoping that Jonathan Dunn here can lead us the way. He was the first ever selected player, and he's produced nicely for us. He's become an excellent edge rush or interior pass rusher, excellent at stopping the run. I'm just hoping that as we now enter into the last season with this team, that this team can do everything that I want them to do. Have a winning record, make the postseason, and win a couple playoff games, and maybe, in truth, win a Super Bowl. But guys, please leave a like, comment down below to today's action, and don't forget to subscribe. I know there's a lot of talking and a lot of me rambling about various different things in these episodes, but I do hope that you guys have been enjoying them. I appreciate all the love and support on the videos as of late. It has been amazing. So I appreciate all of you guys. And if you guys are wondering when I will start to be playing, that series will be coming out soon, probably in the next few weeks, as this is the beginning of September. Probably at the beginning of October is when I will be making that transition. And as you guys can see in live feed here, there is again no playoffs, and again we go 7-10. Unfortunate. It has kind of been the what I've kind of done with every single team is we just kind of get to 7-10, and that's about it. It's unfortunate. I don't truly understand what the meta is, I guess, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I sit here and I think of a 90 overall quarterback, and think that he can handle himself, and clearly not. I mean, he had 2 good seasons, or really 1 good year, 1 season where you're kind of like scratching your head a little bit. He was more of a gunslinger, and then he kind of just became just this below average quarterback. Always showed he had running potential, but nothing stands out. Kenneth Walker here, probably the MVP in terms of this offense. Always 1,000 yards, always over 4 point yards a carry, almost every year over 10 touchdowns. Happy to see that. JSN here had a good 5 seasons with us. DK Metcalf produced. And then, of course, Isaiah Simmons. He was a big free agent get for us. Jonathan Dunn, he became an excellent staple for our defense, but it's just kind of unfortunate that, you know, this team couldn't get over the hump here. I'm so surprised Isaiah Simmons never earned any more, got a higher development. I don't know what's up with that. So it's the first time in any of these rebuilds we got into the playoffs year 2, though. If that's any consolation, that's the silver lining. But guys, please leave a like, comment down below what you thought of today's action, and don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. And suggest down below which team I should do next. I'll see you in the next one.